let's compare the Rivian R1S to the Honda Element. This is a video I've wanted to make for a long time, and I think the Rivian has a lot of similarities, and it's taken a lot of things that the Honda Element has, and they've kind of made it into a new modern version of the Honda Element, in my opinion. Obviously, this has 850 horsepower and it's all electric, and this has 167 horsepower and it's 20 years old. So there's gonna be some major differences, but I think if you just look aesthetically, there are some similarities. So let's go through and walk through both of these vehicles and we'll give them a good comparison. So one of the first things that I notice when I look at these two vehicles is that they both have tailgates, which I think is super cool. Obviously this one is old school manual, and then this, simply press a button. Hopefully they don't hit. Woo, that's close. And then press this button down here, and boom, they both have tailgates. Now, if you take a look at the ride heights, you can see that this one is much taller, but the Rivian has air suspension, so you can adjust the ride height to doing whatever you want to do. If you're off-roading, you can lift the suspension. If you're traveling down the street and you want to be more aerodynamic, you can lower the suspension. Now, if you want to do that with the Honda Element, obviously it's all mechanical. So you'll have to get some coilovers to lower it down, or you have to get some spacers to adjust the ride height, and that's something that's static. You can't change it throughout. I mean, I guess you could add an airbag suspension to the Honda Element and slam it when you want to. So that's an option as well, but this Rivian has it included. We'll take some interior space measurements to see what the difference is, but comparing the two, there's definitely more height with the Honda Elements, and with the Rivian, there's definitely more length. And we'll go ahead and go through and show you exactly those specs. Now with the Honda Element, you can seat 4 people, and with the Rivian R1S, you can seat 7 people, which is awesome. And the Rivian R1S obviously has so many more technical capabilities. It has lane assist, it has GPS built in, and all the bells and whistles that you can possibly want out of a new modern vehicle, where the Honda Element has none of that. So if you want something super simple, the Honda Element's your choice. If you want all the latest, greatest features, the Rivian's got it all. So here with the Rivian, we obviously have seating for 7. The first 2 back rows are mechanical. And then up here on the side, we've got buttons to drop down the 2 seats. And then you're left with this beautiful loading floor. It's not completely flat. There's a little bit of a raise here, but you have a ton of space here, and I'll leave the measurements on this clip here. Another really cool thing is you got this excellent moonroof, which the Honda Element has as well. And what's really cool is that this Rivian has camp mode. And what the camp mode does is that it levels the car. So if you're parked like on an uneven surface, the airbag suspension will adjust the height so that you can sleep comfortably when you're camping in the back. And then also you have climate control. So you can keep it about 70 degrees in here while you're sleeping, whether it's hot. And if it's on a cold day, you can use the heat as well. And that all runs off of the battery from the Rivian. So from the outside, the ride height doesn't look too much different. They actually look to be just about the same height. If we go towards the side here, you can see that the Rivian is maybe slightly taller. It's really super close as far as ride height is concerned. But for length, the Rivian is much, much longer than the Honda Element is. So if you're living in the city and you think parking might be a concern, then the Honda Element might be a better choice for you. And also the cost, right? The cost of the Honda Element is only going to be $5,000, $8,000, up to $15,000 for a really good, and we're talking about $75,000 for the tri-motor Rivian R1S. And this is the Gen 2 model, which is awesome. I love the color. It's got a new upgraded interior in the back. And you can identify the new models because instead of just the single light bar, it has a split light bar in the front, which is really cool. Let's go take this thing out for a ride. So we're stepping into the new Rivian. You can see it's got an all brand new interior. It's super beautiful. I love the plaid sort of stitching they have on it. Really beautiful color, and like even in here on the side, it has like this really cool stitching. Absolutely love the interior. And then just look at all that cargo space you have in the back. So 7 passenger seating, tons of space for camping in the back, tons of space for cargo. Now they have this new opaque sunscreen here. So when you want to let the sun in, you can, and then you can press a button, and then it allows the screen to be a little bit more translucent. So yeah, here's the camp mode, and you can press this button here, and it'll simply level the SUV. So now we feel and hear the airbag suspension working in the back to help level the vehicle, which is awesome. Let's reset the ride height here. And you can even do that while you're driving, which is cool. Camp courtesy mode, so it'll turn off all the exterior lights, and proximity locking will turn off. Climate defaults to a quieter level so you can sleep in here quietly. You've got outlets in the back, so when you're camping in the back, this thing is awesome. And this definitely feels like a bigger vehicle, but it's absolutely quiet in here, which makes the driving experience awesome. We're here in Laguna Beach now. We'll take it down by the coast and hopefully get some good views. Just a beautiful, gorgeous day here in Laguna Beach. Put my seatbelt on. Yeah, on those like little bumps, you can barely feel it in this car because the suspension is just so nice. On the screen here, I've got my cameras, so I can see what's 360 above and then also directly in front of me, which is awesome. Got some more Rivian friends right there. We'll let this guy go by. We've got the built-in maps as well. And then just like on the Teslas, you can see everything that's going on around me. So I can see the cars passing by, I can see pedestrians passing by, all on the screen that's directly in front of me, which is nice, so I don't have to look away from the steering wheel. So we'll put into sport mode now, and you can feel the suspension lower just a little bit. Activate those tri-motors. And this thing's got, whoa, holy crap, this thing's got some serious power. Holy moly. That was insane. I barely tapped on the pedal and it really took off on me. That like pushed me back into the seat. I kind of like this kind of cartoon art that they have here in the Rivian too, which is cool. Like, look, we're at 35, and if I just, Jesus Christ, that is so crazy, the power on this thing. Wow. Oh my goodness. This is clearly the future of vehicles right here. This is unlike any gas-powered car. In a gas-powered car, you have to rev the engine up and wait for the revs, but this is just instant. The power is there, automatic. It is wild. Absolutely insane. Hopefully we get some clear space over here. I mean, the Honda, if we're comparing it to the Honda Element, there's absolutely no comparison as far as power is concerned. There's just no comparison. This thing is so much more powerful. And it's just so quiet in here too. Okay, let's slow it down a little bit. And let's see if we can step on the gas here. Woo! That is crazy. That is bonkers. That power is bonkers. Wow. I don't know what to say. I'm speechless at how powerful. This is the tri-motor version, and wow. I don't think that'll ever get old. So now that we're parked, we can play a little bit with the screen, cameras, camp mode, specs, what's going on in the vehicle, Bluetooth. I've got driver profiles, which I can adjust. Very comfortable. Beautiful. Totally beautiful. Okay, so now let's do a 0 to 60 test here. See what happens. Oh man, that is powerful. Holy crap. Did you guys see that? Wow. Man, oh man. Electric is just another beast. Just can't beat it. Look at this view. Unreal. I do hear a little wind noise coming from here, but compared to the Honda Elements, that's nothing. Yeah, I wonder if that's just a weather seal. It's like I have someone tailgating me now, and I feel like I can just blow right by them if I needed to. Something about having all this power is nice, because like if there's a weird situation you want to get out of, you know you can just step on the gas and then you go. I'm gonna let this guy pass me because he's driving kind of like a douchebag. Yeah. Yeah, the quiet in the vehicle is just so nice. Like not having to hear the wind noise like you hear in the Element, or like feel all the bumps. It's hard to compare the two because they're just two totally different vehicles. This is obviously like a luxury, you know, electric SUV, or the Honda Element's, you know, an economy car from 20 years ago. And I think it still has its place, right? If you're wanting to camp and you want to sleep inside but you don't want a big giant van, the Honda Element's totally awesome. But this thing is on another level, absolutely. And I know there's a bunch of people in the comments that are going to say like, oh, it's electric, like what if you run out of fuel while you're out in the middle of nowhere? But it's like this thing uses the Tesla supercharger network, and there's chargers everywhere. And I have my buddy Everyday Sandro, who's traveled to the Arctic in his Tesla, and now he's driving all the way down to Ushuaia. So I don't know if that's totally valid anymore, because I mean, as long as you have power, you can just plug this car in. You know, and if you're going to go out and do some off-roading or whatever and be out in the boonies, just make sure you charge it just before you go. So I'm team electric all the way. If we look at the back of the Element here, mine has a build out obviously, but normally you would have two seats, and those seats will fold up towards the side, and that's something that Rivian doesn't have. They fold downwards with a Rivian. My Element also has a moonroof in the back, which is perfect for stargazing or just hanging out during the day. You get an awesome view like we have here. And the other really cool thing is that the Element is a little bit taller. So I'll leave the measurements here so you guys can see. Actually pretty close in terms of cargo space compared to the Rivian and the Element. But yeah, if you're trying to do like a build out, a camper inside, the height makes a huge difference, because I can have my platform here and still have plenty of space to sit up in the back. So let's go ahead and take the Element out for a test drive now. Now we're in the Honda Element. Good old trusty Honda Element. 312,000 miles on this baby. And you get to hear the engine. You get to hear the exhaust, the little creaks in the suspension. But you know what? It gets the job done. Like, if I'm trying to go from point A to point B in the city, if I'm trying to go camping, like I can freaking do it all in this car. It's not even that much less comfortable than the Rivian. The Rivian's just quiet and powerful and beautiful and all these things, but like, you got it all, right? I got a screen where I can play my music and see how fast I'm going. The steering is responsive. I've got a whole camper setup in the back here. There is one elephant in the room, and that's fuel, right? So I obviously have to go and stop and pay for fuel every time I want to go somewhere. And with the Rivian or any electric vehicle, that's not the case. You got to stop and charge your car, and charging is much cheaper than buying fuel. So you run into that. But I mean, the Honda Element's pretty sweet. I mean, it's boxy, it's cool. I've got everything I need in the back. I don't have power on board, but I can get like a big power bank like I have in this one. And the thing about the Element is that it's just so simple. If for some reason something were to break down anywhere in the country or out of the country, it's very likely that I can find a part and fix it. And I don't think that's the case with the Rivian. Maybe there's less to go wrong because there's less like motors and things like that. But yeah, with this thing, like, I know I can take this anywhere. If I need to go really far out somewhere, I can just bring like extra fuel. And there's a really cool community. There's like this really cool Honda Element community who's like there, who's helpful. Like, I bet if I broke down somewhere, I can reach out to the Element community, and someone anywhere in the United States at least would be like, all right, yeah, give me an hour or two and I'll be there. And I think with Rivian, maybe that community is growing, and it will grow over time, but the Rivian hasn't had 20 years of experience for the community to grow. We got the moon roof in the back, which is cool. And the Element has stadium seating for passengers. I don't know if you guys know this, but in the back, the rear seats are raised slightly, so the passengers in the back can actually enjoy the view, so they're not obstructed by the drivers in front of them, which I think is a cool little quirky thing about the Element. There's so many quirky things. And there's also the suicide doors, or the clamshell doors, which the Rivian definitely doesn't have. So there's a lot of pros to the Honda Element. Let's see, we're going 40 now. Let's step on the gas. Broke something. I think that was a belt. I think the belt broke on the Element. Let's pull over and check it out. But the battery light is on. So that's my assumption here. Yeah, that's my guess, is the belt broke. Oh yeah, no power steering is crazy. Ugh. Okay. Pull it. Boom. Just as I suspected, the belt broke. It's not too bad. I might even have a spare, actually. Huh. Well, let's get to work. So, case in point, something breaks on an old car and you carry extra parts like I do. I've got a spare belt. Look at that. So we can slap this on and we'll be back on the road in no time. So there's one pro, possibly con, for the Honda Element. It's like, something breaks, you can fix it, right? But maybe it wouldn't have broke because there's less moving parts with the electric motors. So who knows? But what I do know for sure is that if indeed something electric broke with the Rivian and the knowledge I have, like that thing's getting towed and I'm going to the shop. And this was a little different because I carried a spare part, carried some tools, and we got it done. So yeah, pros and cons.